hapa. Pindi mwenyekiti atakapowasili, basi nasi tutang'oa na karibuni. Naomba tuweze kumkaribisha mwenyekiti kwa makofi tafadhali. Welcome. And ladies and gentlemen, 31 minutes past 2 p.m. we are ready to kick off. And now I'd kindly request that we be let us be upstanding for the Kenya National Anthem and the East African Community Anthem. And we'll have our prayers from Trustee David William Okoth Ochieng after the anthems. Asanteni sana.
Shall we pray?
Ilinde Jumuiya Afrika Mashariki, tuwezeshe kuishi kwa amani, tutimize na malengo yetu. Jumuiya yetu sote tuilinde, tuajibike, tuimarike, umoja wetu ni nguzo yetu, idumu jumuiya yetu.
Trustee David William Okoth, go ahead.
Gracious Lord who reigns, our heads are bowed down in reverence to your name, to give you glory, honor, and praise. For this JGM, we commit all the activities into your hands, that Lord, you lead us in all our deliberations for the good of the members and for the good of this nation. We glorify your name and we thank you. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
You may kindly take your seats, and to convene the meeting, please welcome.
He is the Chief Executive Officer of the Public Service Superannuation Fund, with a distinguished career spanning leadership roles in the pensions and oil and gas training sectors. He brings deep expertise in institutional governance and strategic financial management. Please welcome Dr. Jonah Ayabe.
Just give us 1 minute. Members, you could
So the CEO, this is your moment.
Members, you are requested to occupy the front seats because you are going to be covering this coverage live. Kindly, just move in front, kindly.
Yes, please welcome to the front. This is indeed your meeting. So please make it to the front.
Tafadhalini twawasihi mje hapa mbele kwa sababu huu mkutano ni wenu.
Naam.
Na mujisikie huru na ya kwamba leo ni nafasi yenu kwa mwaka mara moja kuweza kujua nini inaendelea na senti ambazo nyinyi wenyewe mulikuwa munaiweka. Sawa? Kaa, usiwe na hofu, hapa ni mkutano ni wako. Can we have some chairs fill that place?
Asante sana wale wote mmeweza kuja mbele, tunasema shukran. Mwenyekiti, shukran kwa kuwa umetuhakikishia kwamba mkutano huu ni wetu. Sasa tuko tayari?
Aya. Our CEO Dr. Jonah Ibei, Vice Chair of Board of Trustee Madam Agnes Mwendwa, Trustee Dr. Kiprono, Trustee Dr. David William Okotho Chiel, Trustee Wix Njenga, Trustee Kevin Anyur, Trustee Amos Chepto, and Trustee Muo. Hawa ndio wadhamini wakurugenzi wa chama yenu. These are your board of trustees. And on that note, our able CEO here, Dr. Jonah Ibei. Now I am calling, my name is Ambassador Hussein Dado. I am the chairman of Board of Trustees. So I'm calling the meeting to order and ask our CEO and secretary to the board to carry on from there.
Thank you very much, Chairman. I think the agenda number 1 is to read the notice, which I'll do it shortly. So, members of Public Service Superannuation Fund present and those who are joining us online and watching us on live NTV, it's my great pleasure to undertake the role of agenda number 1 of today's business, which is indicated as reading the notice convening the annual general meeting. And I do that as follows. Notice is hereby given that the 4th annual general meeting of the Public Service Superannuation Scheme for the year ended 30th June 2025 will be held on Friday, 28th, 2025 at Diamond Leisure Lodge and Cove Resort, Diani at 2:30 p.m. The business to be transacted is as follows. Agenda number 1 is ongoing, reading the notice. The second agenda is presentation of the chairman's report. Agenda number 3 is confirmation of minutes of the annual general meeting held on 11 December 2024. Agenda number 5 is Agenda number 4 is presentation of scheme audited financial statements and audit report for the financial year ended 30th June 2025. And agenda number 5 is presentation of reports on the scheme investments. Agenda number 6 is presentation of report on remuneration of trustees. And agenda number 7 is questions from members, response to questions of members. The proceedings of this AGM will be streamed live in YouTube and other digital platforms, including, of course, the national television NTV. This was issued by order of the Board of Trustees, and I signed the notice. Thank you, Chairman.
now, ladies and gentlemen, we're ready to get the introductions. Please welcome.
He is the chairman of the Public Service Superannuation Fund, PSSF, and a distinguished public administrator, best known as the first governor of Tana River County. A former district commissioner and ambassador to Namibia, he brings decades of leadership experience. Please welcome Ambassador Hussein Dado.
Makofi yake tafadhali.
Thank you very much. Our distinguished members, our employers and members of this scheme, mark my words, our employers, representatives from the National Treasury and regulatory bodies, my fellow trustees, our management and the staff, good afternoon. It is an honor to address you at this 4th Annual General Meeting of the Public Service Superannuation Fund, PSSF, and to present the chairman's statement for the year that ended 30th June 2025. Today, we reflect on our fund's financial progress, but also on our journey of institution building, service to our members, and the shared purpose that defines this scheme. 4 years ago, we began as a small unit hosted within the National Treasury, supported by a handful of seconded staff. Today, we stand here as a fully fledged institution with our own home, a strengthened governance structure, operational systems that meet international pension standard, and a dedicated team that serves our members with commitment and professionalism. Our steps are growing steadier every year. Ladies and gentlemen, allow me to express my deepest appreciation to the National Treasury for consistent policy stewardship and timely remittance of contributions. Pigia makofi Treasury. To this effect, I am pleased to report that as of today, there are no outstanding remittances from the National Treasury. It is through this support, policy direction, and cooperation that we have been able to realize the growth, stability, and confidence that the fund enjoys today. We also thank all employers across the public service for ensuring that the members' contributions are up to date. This has allowed member savings to grow consistently and enable us to focus on prudent investment and long-term value creation. To our Board of Trustees, thank you for your strategic guidance. Your oversight has ensured disciplined decision-making, strong governance standards, and a steady institutional trajectory that continue to inspire confidence among our members and stakeholders. Thank you, Board of Trustees. To our staff, thank you for your dedication, empathy, and professionalism. Your daily commitment to serving members with clarity, patience, and efficiency is the engine that keeps this institution trusted, accessible, and responsive. To our service providers, we value your partnership and the critical role you play in ensuring service continuity. And lastly, to our members, thank you for your trust. You are the reason this institution exists. Your expectations challenge us to do better every day. And believe you me, when time comes, you will not wait for 3 years to get your pension. Neither will you be told the file is lost because you are fully automated. Anytime now, you can even check and know how much your savings are. Fund performance. This year, the year under review witnessed exceptional growth. The fund value grew from 142 billion in 2024 to 242 billion in the year 2025. That is as at 30th June, a remarkable 70.4% increase. The substantial increase in fund value was attributed to both contributions received and high investment returns earned during the period. Our dear members, the fund investment income increased from Kenya shillings 14.054 billion to Kenya shillings 25.369 billion, representing 80.5% growth, supported by prudent diversification into government securities, equities, and offshore markets. Monthly contribution now stands at 4.2 billion due to the growing membership and improved compliance. These results places PSSF among the fastest growing pension schemes and affirms the strength of the contributory pension reform as a key pillar to Kenya's retirement security framework. Interest declaration. In line with our mandate to protect and grow member savings and based on the performance of the funds, I am pleased to announce that the Board of Trustees has declared an annualized net interest rate of 17.68% on members' balances for the year that ended 30th June 2025. The interest has been credited to your accounts and will be visible through our members' platforms. The fund maintained interest declaration policy during the year, which ensures that the fund maintains a zero reserve, and therefore members exiting the fund during the year obtain a prorated rate of return at the point of exit. On governance, over the year, the board undertook training, adopted a revised governance charter, and strengthened oversight through quarterly board and committee engagements. We remained fully compliant with PSSS Act, the Retirement Benefits Authorities Act, and regulations and international financial reporting standards. This ensures PSSF grows on a foundation of integrity, accountability, and transparency. We have also invested ahead of growth, building systems, strengthening risk controls, and enhancing digital service platforms to ensure we are ready for the internal administration. Maybe to clarify that, up to this coming Sunday, our administration was carried out by CPF, another organization that was contracted at the beginning when we didn't have capacity. Now we are fully fledged internal administration from 1st of December. We have been running our own parallel data, and we are ready so that when you retire, we don't tell you, go to that organization in the next building to look for your savings. So rest assured, everything is under control. Looking ahead, as we move into the next phase of growth, our focus is clear. We are committed to operational excellence. We are committed to responsible and sustainable investment. We are committed to digital transformation so members can access their information seamlessly anytime and anywhere in the world, not only in the Republic. Our strategic plan 2023-2027 continues to guide our future direction, focusing on scale, service efficiency, investment performance, and long-term sustainability. Ladies and gentlemen, our dear members, members of Board of Trustees and our providers, in just 5 years, we have built the foundations of a pensions fund that will serve generations to come. The progress we celebrate today is shared progress, built through partnership, commitment, and common purpose. Let us continue walking this journey together. Trustees, government, employers, staff, partners, and our esteemed members. Thank you for your confidence and for your partnership. Together, we are securing a dignified retirement for every public servant. Thank you.
And now to confirm the minutes of the AGM held on 11th December 2024. CEO Dr. Jonah Ayabe.
Thank you very much, Chairman, for that clarity on your report. Members, you will have an opportunity to seek clarification or ask questions as we come to the end later in the agenda of today. The next agenda, Chairman, is on confirmation of the minutes held on 11 December 2024. And I would want to table the minutes. We circulated the minutes, Chairman, and therefore we'll just want the members, if there are any clarification, any typos from that minute, you will let us know. So I'll take you page by page, and thereafter, with your permission, Chairman, I will invite for confirmation of the minutes. The meeting was held on the third annual general meeting was held on 11 December 2024 at Kenyatta International Convention Center, Nairobi. The trustees attended the meeting, and members, various members drawn from various sponsors, Chairman, and the list as indicated. At the meeting, we heard the remarks from the chief guest, the remarks by the Board of Trustees, Chairman's report, and that has been captured on page 2 of the report. The other agenda, or minute number 4, was about the remarks by the then chief guest, the CS of Public Service and Human Capital Development. That was, we was invited as one of the chief guests, and he made some remarks. We captured that. And then the remarks by the chief guest, who the chief guest then was the cabinet secretary in charge of the National Treasury, Honorable Mbadi. We have captured the critical comments. I think of importance is to note that it was at that point where there were pronouncement of establishment of a committee of experts to work with government, and we have captured that, Chairman. Minute number 6 was about reading the notice. Minute number 7 is about confirmation of minutes. Minute number 8 was about presentation of audited accounts. for the scheme for the financial year ended 30th June 2024. Minute number 9 was about the presentation of financial statements and investments report done by our fund manager. We also had minute number 12, which were the remarks from the regulator, and minute number 13 was also about the remuneration of the Board of Trustees, and then minute number 14 was about questions and answers, and finally, we had vote of thanks. Members, these were the minutes of our annual general meeting held last year on the 11th. I would want to invite chairman for record and confirmation, and these minutes are actually projected. We would want to invite a proposer and a seconder so that it gives the mandate, the secretary of the board, that's myself, and the chairman to sign the minutes. May I have a proposer for these minutes? Please pick the phone and the mic, sorry, and mention your name. Yes.
Good afternoon, ladies
and confirm that you are a member of the scheme, of course.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Kasmir Imbosa. I am a member of the scheme. I come from the Office of the Attorney General.
Thank you very much. May I invite a seconder, ladies and gentlemen? Yes. Again, you tell us your name and a confirmation that you are a member of this pensions fund.
My name is Swale Nyaume from the National Youth Service Kenya. I am a member of the scheme and I second.
Thank you very much. With that, Chairman, I think that gives us the powers to sign the minutes, which the chairman will be endorsing, and myself. And it paves way to the next agenda of today, which will be a very straightforward one, which is the presentation of the funds or the scheme's audited financial statements and the audit report therein for the financial year ended 30th June 2025. So we now go to the business of what happened after 30th June 2025. And to take us through on this, we will have, of course, the auditor to come and tell us the opinion, which I'll be glad to invite him to come over. And for the audited accounts, which has been circulated and hard copies have been shared, you will also be able to follow through as they don't make the presentation. So I will invite Obed Buffy together with the auditor to come and spend some few minutes, show us the net movement of assets, and also we'll be very happy to hear the opinion of the auditor. Buffy, are you in the room? Together with the auditor? Yes. So take over. I think it will be good that to note that we were doing these accounts together with the CPF, who are our administrators. So we will get an highlight, and please, it's just a highlight of the summary of the net movement of assets, and then we'll invite the auditor to give the opinion. Over to you.
Thank you, CEO. Thank you, Chairman. I want to stand on the established protocols. Good afternoon, members. So my name is CPA Joshua Saidimu Moilo. I'm the Group Head of Finance for CPF, and I'm here on behalf of our CEO, Dr. Jose Akili, and Director Rono, and supported here by Zipporah, just to give you highlights of the financial statements that will be confirmed by the auditor through the opinion. So I will take you just a highlights on the three key statements. The first statement is a statement of changes in net assets available for benefits, which explains the source of funds that we got in the year ended. And for that year, we received contributions of 142. We closed the fund value at 242 billion shillings, which was generated from contributions that we received of 52 billion shillings. We also got investment income of 48 billion shillings, and that gave us an increase of the fund from 142 billion shillings to 242.7 billion shillings. Then the next statement is a statement of financial position, which outline where the assets are held, and I know this will be later on taken in details by the fund managers. But during the year, we had total planned investments of 233.7 billion shillings, and we also had other assets adding up to 10 billion shillings, and that brings us to the total assets, net assets available for benefit at 242.7 billion shillings, and that is represented by the member funds of 224.7 billion shillings, reserve of 108.8 million shillings, and revaluation reserves of 17.9 billion shillings, all summing up to 242.7 billion shillings. The other statement that I just highlight is the statement of cash flows, which shows the movement of cash during the year, and we closed the year with a cash and cash equivalent of 2 billion shillings for that period. And members, we also have the notes which you can go through that support the numbers that we have shared with you, and that is the highlights of the financial statements that were audited in the year that ended 30th June 2025. Thank you. And then from there we can have the auditor read the opinion. Thank you.
The chairperson of the Board of Trustees, members of the board, CEO, members present physically and virtually, other distinguished stakeholders, good afternoon. My name is Samuel Mushiri. I'm representing the Office of the Auditor General, and I will read the report. Now, the report is in three parts. We have the report on the financial statements. We have the report on lawfulness and effectiveness in the use of public resources. And we also have the report on effectiveness of internal controls, risk management, and governance. And this report is found on page 44, Roman numbers, of the booklets that you have. So I now present the audit report of the Auditor General on the financial statements of the Public Service Superannuation Fund for the year ended 30th June 2025, which was signed by the Auditor General on 29th September 2025, and where a clean opinion was given for the report on the financial statements. Yes, you can clap. Now, I'll read the report on the financial statements as the first report. I have audited the accompanying financial statements of Public Service Superannuation Fund set out on pages 1 to 35, which comprise the statement of financial position as at 30th June 2025, the statement of changes in net assets available for benefits, statement of cash flows, statement of comparison of budget and actual amounts for the year then ended, and a summary of significant accounting policies and other explanatory information in accordance with provisions of Article 229 of the Constitution of Kenya and Section 35 of the Public Audit Act 2015. I have obtained all the information and explanations which, to the best of my knowledge and belief, were necessary for the purpose of the audit. So here is the opinion. In my opinion, the financial statements present fairly, in all material respects, the financial position of Public Service Superannuation Fund as at 30th June 2025, and of its financial performance and its cash flows for the year then ended, in accordance with the International Public Sector Accounting Standards, accrual basis, and comply with the Public Finance Management Act 2012 and the Public Service Superannuation Scheme Act 2012. So that is the report on the financial statements, basically just saying it is a clean report. Now allow me to move to the next report, that is the report on lawfulness and effectiveness in the use of public resources. Here the Auditor General doesn't form an opinion, she arrives at a conclusion. And therefore, here is the conclusion, I will read. As required by Article 2296 of the Constitution, based on the audit procedures performed, except for the effect of the matters described in the basis for conclusion on lawfulness and effectiveness in the use of public resources section of my report, I confirm that nothing else has come to my attention to cause me to believe that public resources have not been applied lawfully in an ineffective way. So here, you heard me say, except for the effect of the matters described in the basis for conclusion. And therefore, I will read to you the basis for the conclusion, because we had a few issues that we picked here. Issue number one was unremitted pension employer to the fund all due contributions, but as of 30th June 2025, this was the situation. So the statement of financial position, and as disclosed in Note 16 to the financial statements, reflects a balance of 10,606,767,006 shillings in respect of contributions receivable, which relates to unremitted employer and employee contributions to the fund as at 30th June 2025. Out of the outstanding amount, Kenya shillings 9,385,345,050 shillings had been received by the end of August 2025, and therefore there was a balance as of August of 1,221,421,956 as unremitted. This is when we were carrying out the audit, so we still had a balance of 1.2 billion that was not remitted. This is contrary to Section 8C of the Public Service Superannuation Scheme Act 2012, which states that not later than 10 working days after the end of the month in which the contributions are due, the government shall remit an amount comprising the members and the government's contribution to the custodian, unless the outstanding balance is paid together with the penalty, which is also provided in the Act under Section 6(2). Then contributors may stand to lose returns that would have been earned had the contributions been received in time. So we had an issue with unremitted pensions, and therefore we concluded by saying, in the circumstances, management or National Treasury in this case was in breach of the law. Issue number two was on non-compliance with the law on affirmative action. Allow me to read. Again, we concluded that management was in breach of the law. Number three is on board meetings exceeding the required number. Again, during the year under review, the board and its finance and investment and strategy committee held 11 and 7 meetings consecutively, or respectively, contrary to circular that of 11 March 2020, which restricts board meetings to a minimum of 4 and a maximum of 6 for each financial year. So again, we said management did not provide evidence for approval because it's required. Where there is need to have extra meetings, then you need to seek approval from the cabinet secretary, which again were not available, were not provided, or was not provided. So again, in the circumstances, we concluded that management was in breach of the law. Issue number 4 under this category was on failure to adhere to the gender rule on appointments. And I think this one is again also touching on the board. I think we can only see there is only one lady up here. So again, we picked that as an issue. Review of the composition of the fund's board of trustees revealed that during the year under review, the fund had 9 board of trustees members, out of whom 7 were of the same gender, contrary to requirements of Article 27(8) of the Constitution of Kenya on equality and freedom from discrimination, which provides that not more than 2/3 of members of elective or appointive bodies shall be of the same gender. Again, conclusion here was management, or maybe the appointing authority, was in breach of the law. So that was the report on lawfulness and effectiveness in the use of public resources. The last report is on, again, a report on effectiveness of internal controls, risk management and governance, again, where the Auditor General arrives at a conclusion. So here is a conclusion. As required by Section 7(1)(a) of the Public Audit Act 2015, and based on the audit procedures performed, except for the effects of the matter described in the basis for conclusion on the effectiveness of internal controls, risk management and governance section of my report, I confirm that nothing else has come to my attention to cause me to believe internal controls, risk management and governance were not effective. Again, here we had one reservation, and therefore we had a basis for conclusion. So allow me to read it. Inadequate controls on members' funds. The statement of financial position reflects members' fund balance of 224,735,988,305. However, the following anomalies were noted. Number 1, Section 35 of the Public Service Superannuation Scheme Act 2012 requires the fund administrator to register members. However, review of the fund's administration systems revealed that the following critical information was missing. Number 1, fund pension status. Number 2, contribution amount. Number 3, date of normal retirement. Number 4, other personal data including contacts, class, workstation, designation, next of kin, and employment history. Then number 2, review of member balances provided for audit revealed that 16,701 members had no gender status, while 94 were above 60 years old but were still active members. 13 had no sponsors, and 1 had no personal numbers or personal number. Again, these were just weaknesses we picked from the fund administrator's system. I'm sure these are things that can be improved so that the next time we are auditing, then these are not the issues that will come up. So in the circumstances, the existence of ineffective controls on members' details and data could not be confirmed. So that is the end of the Auditor General's report. Signed, Auditor General Nancy Gathungu, CPA, 29th September 2025. Once again, we thank management for the cooperation they accorded to the auditors during the audit process. I thank you all for their attention. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Financial statements have been presented by our administrator and confirmed by the auditor. We are now going to move to the next agenda, which will split into 3 categories. I know in the house we have our custodians. Do you have the custodians around here? I really want to appreciate the custodians present. We also have our fund manager who was doing fund management during the financial year. So I want to invite the fund manager, and for the custodians, because we are more than one of you will just give a confirmation to the members on how the numbers were. So if you can allow, maybe you can start with the custodians and then the fund manager can come over. Fund manager, custodians, we had 3 of them. Your colleagues can also come and stand here so that you will be speaking on behalf of them and they can say everything is okay. Please, we had 3 custodians. So those who were there during that financial year, that ended at June. Yeah, NCBA, CoBank. Yeah, I think those are the 2 represented here today, Chairman. Okay. Yes.
Good afternoon. Chairman, the Board of Trustees, the CEO, PSSF, the entire Board of Trustees for PSSF, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, fellow service providers, good afternoon. My name is Gaston Mokuno. I'm a custodian and I'm representing the Cooperative Bank of Kenya. But before I start the presentation, I can request my fellow custodian to also say hi and introduce herself.
Good afternoon, members. My name is Eva Mwangi from NCBA Bank. Thank you.
So thank you. And in the interest of time, the mandate that we've been given has been very limited. We are just to confirm the numbers. So I will not go through what we do on a day-to-day basis, with the understanding that this presentation will be shared with the members. So we will just go to the last slide of that presentation. Yes, that page where we have the numbers. Distinguished members, this is to confirm that as for the financial year that ended 30th June 2025, the fund closed the year with an asset position of 235 billion. That is shown on your screens. And as you can see, that asset class or that portfolio was split or was divided in the various asset classes. Starting with cash, we had a cash allocation of 2 billion, and that was a percentage of 0.86% of the portfolio. For equities, we had an allocation of 16.7 billion, and that was 7% of this portfolio. For treasury bills, we had 9.7 billion, and that translated to 4% of the portfolio. Treasury bonds, we had an allocation of 188 billion, which was 79% of the portfolio. That is to say the largest proportion of our fund is invested in the government paper. We also had exposure in Eurobonds, whereby we had an allocation of 4.3 billion. For private equity, and in line with the presentation we've been having in this forum, we had an exposure of 5.4 billion. Then we had offshore investments for the funds at 7 billion. And the last item is the investment in properties, which is the Batian Fund. We had an exposure of 2 billion. So members, as you can see on the right-hand side of that table, is to confirm that the fund was compliant as far as the RBA limits are concerned. And we continue to hold these assets on your behalf and on behalf of the members on behalf of the trustees. With that, I wish to thank you and give the meeting back to the CEO. Thank you.
The sponsor, National Treasury, Chair, Board of Trustees, Trustees, CEO, Secretariat, esteemed members of the fund, fellow service providers, and riding on all protocols declared, good afternoon. Good afternoon once again. My name is Patrick Karaoke. I'm the Managing Director of Gen Africa Asset Managers, and accompanying me is our Senior Investment Manager, Mohammed Khalid, who manages the account on a day-to-day basis. Just like to briefly mention what is our role as fund managers. Our role as fund managers is, one, to understand the scheme properly. And after that is to research on all available investment opportunities and then invest on the most optimal ones under the stewardship of your Board of Trustees and report back to them and also to you members at the annual general meeting. Your fund in the year ended 30th June 2025 performed very well with an impressive 31% investment return. That is 31 shillings added to every 100 you have in investment performance terms. This was done under the wise stewardship of your Board of Trustees, which together with contributions received have really increased your scheme assets from 142 billion last year investment assets to over 242 billion. So with that, I'll hand over to my Senior Investment Manager, Mohammed Khalid, to take you through the finer details. Thank you.
Thank you, Patrick. I'll stand on the already observed protocols. I'm Mohammed Abdi. I'm a Senior Investment Manager with Gen Africa. And I will very briefly walk through the report in terms of who we are. Gen Africa is an investment management company, close to 30 years old. I will be celebrating 30 years next year. We're operating in the region, headquartered in Nairobi. We are pleased to be associated with PSSF. And at the end of last year, we were managing, at the end of September, we were managing close to 800 billion in terms of assets under management. Our core business is investment management, so we are not affiliated to any other institution, either bank or insurance company. So we give you 110% focus in terms of delivering the core mandate of Board of the Trustees. We operate in a highly regulated industry, as you can see there, RBA, Kenya, Uganda, CMA, Kenya, Uganda as well. Very briefly, in terms of the next slide, the pension management structure, very, very simply, we've had the custodians here. They basically will keep the assets on your behalf and on the behalf of the trustees. So we don't hold the assets on our balance sheet. Our core mandate is really a delegated responsibility from the Board of Trustees, which is the investment part. And then ultimately the administration is done by the administrator, which ultimately is just to keep records for you members. The next slide, I'll skip the role. I think that has already been discussed. And very briefly, in terms of the economic environment where we were operating in terms of the economy, last year we noted a bit of a slowdown in terms of the economy at 4.7% compared to 5.6% in the previous year. But as we turn into this year, we've seen very, very strong recovery coming through, and we expect growth to come in at around 5%. In terms of the currency, which is the next slide, largely very stable for the better part of the last 12 months. And you can see that table there basically showing you pretty much a flat performance on mainly the dollar to the shilling. And this is a testament to really how policy has been managed by government. On one end, we are sitting on very, very high forex reserves, which continue to support the external environment. And we've also had some concessional debt flows that have come through, in addition to very good tourism earnings and export earnings over that particular period. In terms of inflation, which is very, very important, members, in the context of your accumulated benefits, because ultimately you need to track inflation and deliver returns above inflation to be able to maintain the purchasing power of your benefits. And as you can see, inflation has remained largely low. If you to compare 2023 coming in at around 7.7% and 4.5% in 2024, If you look at 2025, that trend has continued, and generally our inflation average this year is likely to be at around 4-5%. Interest rates, again, as you can see in the graph there, has come down year on year, which again is as a result of the monetary policy environment which CBK has employed, which is largely to reduce interest rates and to try and improve the private sector credit, and ultimately that's one of the reasons we expect slightly better economic numbers in terms of growth this year. On the next slide, we are looking at the local and offshore equities of markets. We had a very good run. In fact, one of the reasons the return for the portfolio was relatively strong is the earnings have come from the local equity market. And you can see there a 34% for 2024 and around 24% for the first half of 2025. That has continued to remain the case in the second half of this year, and we expect that to hold in terms of performance, which is again an area that the fund is exposed to, and ultimately will see the value of your fund being better by diversifying into this particular segment. The investment report, this has already been highlighted by the custodian. I'll not really go through too much detail here. But what you will note year on year is the diversification which has been employed. You can see 2024, we didn't have offshore equities. That has come through private equity as well as real estate. And I will want to, of course, credit also the Board of Trustees for their stewardship in terms of maintaining a very strong view around diversifying the fund. So if you look at the fund today, you'll see much more diversification further into other asset classes, and ultimately that's really the way to go to try and ensure that the funds are well diversified into the long term. The performance of the fund, I think the chair has already mentioned, which will be the next slide. You will see that remarkable growth between 2022, 2023, and 2024. Largely averaging out at around 17%, which is more driven by what has happened in the stock market as well as what has happened in terms of the interest rate environment last year. The next slide talks around the fund growth, and if you look at the fund growth starting off from about 43 billion December 2022, you'll see that very, very strong growth coming to 78 billion 2023, 140 billion 2024, and now closing in at around 234. As we are trading today, that number is much higher than those levels. If you to look at the cumulated net contributions by you members, that represents about 75% of that 234 million. And about 25% of that current fund value is represented by investment returns. So you will see that investment returns have actually also really delivered very strong growth in terms of your assets under management. As I close, the fund value. As I close the outlook, I think we've already talked about what we expect in terms of GDP, inflation largely remaining moderate, interest rates likely to remain low to stable, exchange rate expected to remain largely stable, and the stock market has remained quite buoyant in terms of performance, and we expect that to continue up to the end of this year. Offshore markets have also bounced back, notwithstanding a bit of a challenge at the beginning of this year. So we are all looking forward to very decent returns as we probably meet, inshallah, sometime next year. And we will be expecting that performance to maintain at strong double-digit levels for the next 12 months. Thank you very much. I will probably take it back to you when I see you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Just one small clarity. The appointment of Board of Trustees is not in our hands, but with the parent organization. If the police sends me a lady, we receive her as a trustee. If Teachers Service Commission sends us as a man, we have been trying to advise. So, Bona Auditor, that's out of our control. I will ask Trustee Anyur to deal with agenda number 6. That is presentation of report on remuneration of trustees. Thank you.
Thank you, Chairman. My duty is fairly simple, is to read for you agenda number 6. Agenda number 6 is on the report on remuneration of trustees. The trustees are paid sitting allowance and other remuneration for expenses at the rates approved by the Cabinet Secretary in charge of National Treasury and Economic Planning. This is in line with Section 18 of the PSSS Act. The sitting allowance payable currently is at the rate of 28,000 per meeting before tax. The trustees' remuneration paid in the year 24-25 has been disclosed in the annual report and financial statements as prescribed in the retirement benefits guidelines of 2018. I thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. I think before we proceed, before the next agenda, that is question and answers, which you have to ask the questions kindly, we want to adopt the report by our service providers, both the custodians and the fund managers. Can we have somebody to help us adopt? A hand, please. We want to adopt those reports before we continue. We want a proposer, please. You have heard the reports, you have seen the report. Can somebody propose that we adopt them first, then we move forward? That's a procedure.
She is the Vice Chairperson of PSSF and an experienced public service.
Who is proposing? The lady, please state your name and confirm that you are a member of PSSS.
Good afternoon. I'm Frasia Kabata, a representative from the State Department for Roads. I'm also a member of the PSSF, and I would like to propose the adoption of the audit report of audited financial statement.
Thank you very much. That's very correct. Seconder? Okay.
My name is Zakaria Molobi from Bungoma County Executive. I confirm that I'm a member of PSSF. I second. Thank you.
Thank you. So the report has been adopted. We now go to agenda number 7. Questions from members. Anybody? Okay, there are two ways of doing these things. You can ask the questions now or write to us. We will answer you. Anybody who wants to ask a question now in this room? Thank you. I don't seem to be receiving any questions. Where? There's one. Please. Yeah. That gentleman or lady at the back, I can't see you properly. Mpe microphone. Yule, nyuma yako huko.
Okay. Thank you very much. My name is Lucina Grafal Takong, Mwana wa Margaret. I am here from Teacher Service Commission. I came in quite a bit late, but I've interacted with this conference before, and my question goes to the people, the colleagues who served under the defunct pension scheme, and then now they are under PSSF, when they finally call it a day at the age 60, where do they seek for their benefits? Because the last time we had a conversation, it was that the PSF is going to take care to the members from 2021. And the question is, comrades in service, some of them have served from the year 2015 and so many years back, and they are just retiring. Where do they go for their benefits? Are they consolidated or are they separate claims?
Thank you very much. That's a very important question. Please, I'll take some few more questions. Okay, here in the middle.
Thank you so much. Ms. Leona Doronje from Kupet, Kenya. We have just been told that there's a declaration of 17% as dividends in the year ending 30th of June.
Please confirm if you are a member and which ministry do you come from?
I come from TSC.
TSC, you are a member?
Yes.
Thank you, Carl.
So there's a declaration of 17% on the members' contributions, and it has been said that this will be wired to their accounts. Can they access this 17%, or if not, how will it benefit them? How is it computed so that is it being plowed back to their initial amount, or they can access, because there's some missing information about that. Thank you so much.
Thank you. That's a very good question. Another one? We want about 4 or 5 questions before. Okay, there in the middle.
Yes, thank you. Allow me to ride on the already established protocol. I'm Ojuang Patrick from TSC. My question is on the investment part, because these monies that we contribute, I'm told that they're invested in treasury bills and treasury bonds, and I'm told again that this year you've started building, or rather investing in properties. I don't have the knowledge on the returns. And again, do we have any other areas that this money is going to be invested? Because around 242 billion that has been contributed for this particular year, I believe it is well invested, then we can get proper returns. So allow me to ask on the future plans that is going to allow this money to either double, or the better ways that you are looking forward to ensure that we have a better investments of this fund. Thank you.
Very good question. Any other question, please? Okay, this side. Somebody there?
Yeah, all protocols observed. I'm Munyi Rajab, member of TSC. My question goes to the board. Probably kuna mali tulikosea. The question goes, the previous group of teachers or public employees used to get their pension benefits, now kwa hawakatwi. The question is, tumeleta PSF, and those group walikuwa wakati walikuwa wanapata pesa yao. Hii pesa ilikuwa wanapata ilikuwa kutoka wapi? First question. Na ya pili, why are we contributing and we are serving the same government? Ikiwa wale walikuwa wanapata na walikuwa contribute in the old scheme, mbona saizi? Thank you.
Good question. Okay. Aya, nani mwingine wa mwisho? Aya.
Okay, good afternoon. I'm Maloba, a member of TSC. I'm asking a question on gender. I'm already biased. So once the names are forwarded to you, Bwana Chair, is it not in order you return it back to sender until the gender threshold is achieved. Can we return those names back until we meet the gender threshold as per the Kenyan Constitution? Kindly. Or we go to court, the way the Kenyan government understands.
Okay, last question before we respond to this set of questions.
Okay, thank you, Chairman. I am Hassan from TSC. One, we received the invitation very late on a short notice, and I have traveled all the way from Macnon, a place called Kilibasi. I was told there will be a fair reimbursement. Can you kindly, Chairman, talk of it?
We'll answer those questions. I will ask the CEO to respond to them, and maybe we can also chip in. CEO.
Thank you very much, Chairman. We have received more than the questions that has just been mentioned. Hello? We have received some other written questions that Anwar will be answering, and we can also answer the one that has been brought to the floor. The first question was about accrued benefits, benefits that had been accumulated before the commencement of PSSF. I've forgotten the name of the gentleman who was asking, but he's wondering, when these people retire, will they come to PSSF and everything has been put together? I think the key thing to mention is that we are responsible for your benefits from 2021 going forward. The original one, you will still have to go to the National Treasury BIMA for the old scheme. The second question was from Leonard Orenjo regarding 17 point something interest that has been declared on whether you can access them. We are running a retirement benefit scheme, so you cannot access the benefits because it's meant for your retirement, but it will be put in your account waiting for that time. Ochuang Patrick from the Teacher Service Commission, Mwalimu, wanted to understand the investment structure. It keeps on changing every year. We could be too much exposed on government securities, but we keep on changing as opportunities arise. And exactly what was presented by the auditor and the investment managers are actually the areas that we are focusing on. And it can never remain static because with investment opportunities change. Rachap of TSC, let me go to the gender question. I think that one I should have left it to Chairman. I will leave that to you. Then the issue of why are you contributing and you use not to contribute? I think that's, I'm paraphrasing, isn't it? So the idea here is that when you contribute, it creates certainty, it is your money, and you don't wait for anybody else to pay for you. The previous one, you are relying on government budgetary provision. And that's why we have this story where somebody retires and waits for maybe even 5 years because there is no budget from government. But this one that you funded while you're in employment is guaranteed that is your money. Tumelewana? So it's the best practice to finance your retirement while you're in service. I will ask Anwar to pick maybe 2 or 3 questions of the ones that has been written and can be responded. And the rest of them we can still post through our online channels because we are live on TV within a very limited time. So I'll ask Anwar to just pick some sample of that, and the others will still be responding. As Chairman will take the gender question because the lady who asked said she can easily go to court, so I don't want to expose myself.
Thank you, CEO.